Zeug!
They were never supposed to exist. 9 outcasts from America's forgotten heartland, hiding their pain behind grotesque masks. This was a band born from chaos, fueled by tragedy, and destined to either burn out or change the world forever. This is the story of how they did both. How 9 masks became one impossible story, and how a family forged in hell built a legacy that will never die. This is the chaos of Slipknot. In the middle of America, there's a place called Iowa. To the rest of the world, it's mostly just a quiet landscape of cornfields and conservatism. In the mid-1990s, for a generation of kids with nothing to do and nowhere to go, that silence was deafening. It was a pressure cooker of boredom, frustration, and pent-up rage. And in Des Moines, something was starting to fester in basements and dimly lit garages. The story doesn't begin with a clear plan. It begins with a feeling, a raw, unfiltered need for something more violent, more honest, and more extreme than anything that had come before. At the center of that storm were 3 key architects: Sean Crahan, a welder with an artist's soul and a love for chaos, the madman with the vision. He saw performance not just as music, but as violent exorcism. His idea, sparked by an old clown mask he'd bring to practice, would become the band's most defining symbol, a way to shed their boring lives and unleash something primal. Paul Gray, the musical heart, a gifted melodic bassist with encyclopedic knowledge. He could take the most brutal, dissonant ideas and shape them into songs. Many would later call him the glue that held it all together. And Joey Jordison, a drumming prodigy working the night shift at a Sinclair gas station, a small man who became a giant behind the kit. During those long nights, he, Crahan, and Gray dreamed up a monster. They didn't just want to be a band, they wanted to be a phenomenon. After cycling through names like the Pale Ones and Meld, Jordison suggested a title from one of their songs, Slipknot. It was perfect. A word that was both simple and sinister, a knot that tightens, a symbol of inescapable pressure. Their first release made Feed, Kill, Repeat. October 31st, 1996, was a self-financed experiment fronted by original vocalist Anders Kolsefni, a strange fusion of funk, jazz, and death metal. It wasn't quite the finished product, but it was the spark. The vision was clear. 9 individuals stripped of their identities by numbered jumpsuits and horrifying masks, acting as one furious unit. Crahan's philosophy was simple. Remove the ego and the real you appears. Each mask was a reflection of the man behind it.
We perform our art as a group, as a cult, that we would remain, faceless by putting on some things that just changed our entities all.
But they still needed a voice. A frontman who wouldn't just sing the words, but bleed them. And in 1997, they found him. Corey Taylor was already a local legend in Des Moines, fronting the melodic hard rock band Stone Sour. His voice could soar one moment and turn guttural and demonic the next. When Crahan Jordison and guitarist Mick Thompson showed up at his day job at an adult bookstore to recruit him, Taylor hesitated. Joining Slipknot looked like pure insanity. But the chaos pulled him in. In a sweat-soaked basement rehearsal, the band played him material that would become Spit It Out. Taylor grabbed a notebook and began sketching lyrics immediately. When he unleashed that voice, equal parts melody and rage, they knew the missing piece had arrived. Anders Kolsefni moved to percussion but soon left. Craig Jones, who'd originally joined on guitar, switched to sampler, building the eerie industrial backbone of their sound. DJ Sid Wilson soon joined, adding turntable chaos to the mix. Then came guitarist Jim Root, recruited from Stone Sour in early 1999 after Josh Brainerd left during the recording of their debut. With him, the classic 9-man lineup, numbered 0 through 8, was complete. 9 men, 9 masks, one destructive purpose. Their live shows were already the stuff of local legend. a storm of fire, violence, and pure energy. That intensity caught the attention of producer Ross Robinson, the man behind Korn and Sepultura. He saw them rehearse and immediately signed on. Roadrunner Records took a gamble and brought them to Malibu's Indigo Ranch studios to record their debut. The sessions were brutal. Fights, breakdowns, and raw catharsis. The result was Slipknot, released on June 29, 1999. A sound unlike anything before it. Death metal speed, industrial chaos, and unhinged vocals. Songs like Wait and Bleed, Spit It Out, and Aim Sick hit like a Molotov cocktail. But the true revelation came that summer at Ozfest 1999. Slipknot hit the side stage unknown and left as legends. 9 masked lunatics in red jumpsuits, flinging themselves into the crowd, smashing drums, hurling mic stands. It was chaos incarnate. The crowd grew bigger every day until Slipknot was the show everyone came to see. By the tour's end, their debut album had gone platinum, powered almost entirely by word of mouth. They'd built an army, the Maggots. Slipknot had arrived. If you're loving this deep dive into rock history, hit subscribe. We've got more insane origin stories coming. From the bands that turned pain into power. And stick around, because Slipknot's biggest victory was about to destroy them from the inside. Success brought them fame, but also pressure, addiction, and resentment. When they began recording Iowa in early 2001, the Brotherhood had cracked. Alcoholism, drugs, and infighting consumed the sessions at Sound City and Sound Image Studios in Los Angeles. Producer Ross Robinson, recovering from a motocross accident that left him in a wheelchair, pushed them to extremes. The opening track, 515, captures Sid Wilson's breakdown after learning his grandfather had died. Robinson kept the tape rolling. Frontman Corey Taylor, deep in alcoholism, channeled every ounce of agony into the mic. During the 15-minute title track, he later said he recorded naked, bleeding, and vomiting in the booth. The result was pure violence. Songs like People Equal Shit and the Heretic Anthem spat at fame, at critics, at everything. If you're 555, then I'm 666. When Iowa hit on August 28, 2001, it was suffocating, venomous, and impossible to ignore. Alternative Press wrote that listening to it was like having a plastic bag taped over your head for an hour, while Satan uses your scrotum as a speed bag. It debuted in the top 10 in multiple countries and went platinum, but it nearly killed the band. The tour that followed was chaos, fights, blackouts, and broken trust. Afterward, Slipknot went on hiatus. Some thought they were done for good. After Iowa, the members scattered. Corey Taylor and Jim Root revived Stone Sour. Joey Jordison launched Murder Dolls. When they regrouped, they worked with Rick Rubin on Volume 3, The Subliminal Verses, 2004. It was an evolution, still heavy, but more melodic, with songs like Duality, Vermilion Part 2, Before I Forget, which earned them a Grammy Award in 2006. But their next album, All Hope Is Gone, 2008, foretold what was coming. Though it debuted at number 1, recording was tense and fragmented. Then tragedy struck. On May 24, 2010, Paul Gray, Slipknot's bassist and soul, was found dead in an Iowa hotel room from an accidental overdose. He was 38. The next day, the band appeared unmasked alongside Paul's family. Visibly broken, they called him the essence of Slipknot. Corey Taylor, choking back tears, said simply, "The only way I can sum up Paul Gray is love."
He was everything that was wonderful about this band and about this group of people. The only way I can sum up Paul Gray is love.
It was a moment of raw humanity. The monsters behind the masks had become human, and grief made them realer than ever. Paul's death could have ended Slipknot. For a year, there was silence, but the band realized that letting Slipknot die would make Paul's last act his death instead of his music. So, they chose to carry on. In 2011, Slipknot returned to the stage. Original guitarist Donnie Steele played bass off stage, and Paul's jumpsuit stood beside them as a silent tribute. But chaos followed. In 2013, Slipknot announced they had parted ways with Joey Jordison, citing personal reasons. Joey later revealed he'd been diagnosed with transverse myelitis, a neurological condition that left him temporarily unable to play. Two new musicians stepped in: Alessandro V-Man Venturella on bass and Jay Weinberg on drums. Their 2014 record, The Gray Chapter, became both a tribute to Paul and a rebirth. Still, the turmoil never stopped. In 2019, percussionist Chris Fenn was dismissed after a lawsuit, replaced by the masked mystery known as Tortilla Man, later confirmed as Michael Pfaff. Then, in 2021, tragedy returned. Joey Jordison died peacefully in his sleep at 46. His loss shook fans and bandmates alike, a reminder that Slipknot's chaos always came with a price. Despite everything, Slipknot endured. They released We Are Not Your Kind, 2019, and The End So Far, 2022. In 2023, longtime sampler Craig Jones and drummer Jay Weinberg departed. By 2024, Slipknot officially introduced Eloy Casagrande, the powerhouse former drummer of Sepultura, as their new force behind the kit. Today, Sean Clown Crahan stands as the only member left from those first Des Moines rehearsals, the original architect of the storm. Slipknot was never supposed to be a happy story. It was written in pain, fueled by anger, and marked by tragedy. 9 outcasts from Iowa took silence and turned it into the loudest, most cathartic noise on earth. They built an empire on rejection, a family of freaks, and a culture of chaos. They wore masks to show the world their truth and gave millions of fans, the maggots, a mask of their own. They survived addiction, death, and collapse. Every time chaos threatened to destroy them, they turned it into something stronger, a legacy. They were never supposed to make it, but they did. 9 masks, 1 impossible story, and a legacy that will never die.